Marvel has an absolute ton of new movies, TV shows, and special presentations releasing over the next couple of years, so here's my ranking of all of them by how excited I am to see them. Let's not waste any time and get right into the list with last place, which is Ironheart. This is actually the next MCU project coming out after Thunderbolts. This releases in June, and obviously it's going to be following Riri Williams from the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie, focusing in on her story. We really don't know a lot about this show besides the fact that the Hood is going to be the main villain of the series, and then it's going to kind of be this battle between like magic and technology, which I'm not going to lie, doesn't sound that bad. And I even really liked her character in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but I'm getting serious Echo vibes from this where it's like, oh, that's a cool side character in one project, but the second you give them their own TV show, you quickly realize like, oh, this character is just not that interesting enough to handle their entire own TV show. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I'm just not really excited for this one. Number 13 is Wonder Man. I'm not gonna lie, I was very unfamiliar with this character, so I was kind of intrigued until I found out actually what this show is going to be about. Because according to Deadline, which is like one of the most official sources you can get for our movie and TV show news, the series is going to be 10 episodes long, 30-minute kind of sitcom style, which is parodying life as a Hollywood actor and stuntman in a world full of superheroes, and they say in the same vein as She-Hulk, which is not something I want a show compared to. Now, I'm sure this is probably going to be better than She-Hulk, because at least the premise seems a little bit more interesting, and again, this could be kind of funny, but 10 episodes, the writing actually has to be good, because the premise alone is not that interesting, I'm not going to lie. If I want this kind of style of like Hollywood parody and satire, I'm just going to go watch The Studio instead. At number 12, I have your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I loved a lot about the first season, and I am excited for season 2. Honestly, like everything from here on up on the list, I am excited for. There's just a lot of really amazing projects coming out, so some of these ones that are kind of mediocre have to fall towards the bottom of the list. That's just how it works when you're ranking things. It doesn't mean I'm not excited for this. I thought the first season was a lot of fun. Loved this version of Norman Osborn. I feel like Peter Parker was ultimately like the least interesting character in his own show. Like I was much more involved in Tombstone, Harry even, and a bunch of the other side characters. So hopefully Peter can be improved a little bit in season 2. We also know Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen is going to be introduced. This has been confirmed. They released a first look at her. Some people were complaining about this. I'm not mad about it. Give me more Spider-Gwen. I'll take it. I feel like this show is going to start to really thrive in season 2. Now that we've laid a lot of the groundwork, Peter's became Spider-Man. We've gone through kind of the motions of the origin stories that you always have to get out of the way. Now we're allowed to just hit the ground running, get all the classic Spider-Man characters in here in some new and refreshing ways, and hopefully this show can just run for like a good 4 to 5 seasons like the creator wants it to. 11 is Doctor Strange 3. This is one of the only projects on the list that actually isn't 100% confirmed, but it's one of those that we all know is coming somewhere down the line. I'm sure they're just waiting until after Doomsday and Secret Wars to announce this. I'd be very shocked if we don't see like the conclusion of this post-credit scene with Clea and the incursions that we saw in Multiverse of Madness. And again, I am excited for this movie, just lesser so than the other things on this list, because I feel like the MCU has kind of just ran out of things to do with Doctor Strange, which is a shame. When you're dealing with this like magical world, you should have limitless possibilities. You brought in Sam Raimi and that was great, but I just feel like Multiverse of Madness was kind of a letdown in a lot of areas. I don't think it's Sam Raimi's fault that the movie was a letdown. I'd be very happy if they brought him back for Doctor Strange 3 and just gave him more creative control, because like the elements of the film that you can tell he had control over, all the horror elements and really just the weirdest stuff in the film, I think that worked. I think it was just a misfire going for the multiverse in the way that they did. So hopefully we can just fully embrace this character. He is a great character. Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing as him. He deserves a third movie that does him justice. At number 10 is the Vision Quest series, which might be renamed like the White Vision series or whatever. This has been in the works for years, but it finally seems like it's going to start filming later this year is the main reports going around. And honestly, I had this towards the bottom of the list originally, but now I've started thinking about it, looking into it. A lot of people are thinking we're going to see some version of Ultron back in this show. If this show is really willing to just take a risk, go off the deep end, just be like 6 or 8 episodes of super philosophical Vision, it could actually be incredible and something really refreshing and creative for the MCU. We gotta wait and see. Like, Vision is not one of the characters I definitely say needs their own project, but there's definitely so much possibility, like seeing maybe Vision's just outlook on the entire world. Who knows what now we have with White Vision. We've really barely seen anything from this character besides his one great moment at the end of WandaVision. Like, I feel like the MCU has kind of forgotten he even exists at this point, but I will actually be very interested to see what they can do with this show. At number 9, I have Black Panther 3. This was one of the hardest ones to place on the list because it could really go either way. Because just a couple months ago, we had Denzel Washington coming out in an interview and just like accidentally leaking that he was already talking to Ryan Coogler about joining the movie. And then Ryan Coogler came out, but he's like, oh yeah, nothing official came out yet, but we're going to try to make that happen for sure. And I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. Ryan Coogler has been absolutely cooking. Getting Denzel Washington in Black Panther would be amazing. And like I said, especially after seeing Sinners from Ryan Coogler, I'm ready to fully support anything this guy does. Even though I don't think Wakanda Forever was great, it was definitely a challenge with what happened with Chadwick. Obviously, I think he did the best he could with that movie. Now with a super success of Sinners, that movie is obviously incredible, doing great at the box office. He was just speaking this last week with The Atlantic, and he was talking about how Sinners is unique compared to his other films he worked on over the last decade, because obviously he did like Creed, Black Panther, big franchise movies. They asked him if he wants to return to that world of franchise films. He says, the thing is, not everybody can do this, so I feel a responsibility to. Yeah, I hope to make another Panther movie, but the people who I look up to the most as filmmakers, they do this. And by this, he's referring to making original films like Sinners. Now, if Ryan Coogler wants to step away from franchise films, focusing on more original things, kind of like Christopher Nolan did after making the Dark Knight trilogy, now he just does whatever he wants on his own, and it's absolutely amazing. He's a big enough name to get people to go and see things that aren't big franchise films. We need another person like that. So if Ryan Coogler wants to go that direction, I will fully support him, but it would definitely drastically drop my hype for Black Panther 3 if he ends up leaving this project. So I put it at 9 because, like, if Ryan Coogler is still attached to it, it could honestly jump up a few spots, but if he's not attached to it, it would quickly fall towards the bottom, honestly. At number 8, I have the Punisher special. This is releasing next year. 100% confirmed Jon Bernthal is going to be starring in it. He's going to be partially writing and even directing it, working with other people too. And I'm just excited for this, man. He is absolutely incredible as this character. He has been for years. Getting to see him back in Daredevil Born Again, it got me really excited. And the fact that they're just going to give him full control to give us a really dark and gritty Punisher special. Again, I like the fact that it's a special, not doing another season of his television show that was kind of mediocre. Give us like a 1 hour, 1.5 hour focusing in on this character, and I'll be super happy with it. At number 7 for me is Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I think Season 1 was very solid and enjoyable overall. I think it ended up being very good because the last couple episodes and like one in the middle, I think episode 6 it was, with the Muse fight underground. There were some really standout moments from Season 1, and Season 1 had the difficulty of working with two completely different shows being jammed into one, if you didn't know, because originally they hired completely new people to kind of like soft reboot Daredevil, but then they realized, oh wait, they're making a terrible show. We got to bring back like the original creators of the Netflix series. So what we got was kind of a Frankenstein of these two shows, but now Season 2 is just going to be the original creators cooking from whatever they want to do with this character. I think Season 2 legitimately could be on par with like some of the best of the Netflix Daredevil series, because yeah, we got the same people working on it. Now we know Karen's going to be a much bigger figure in Season 2 because that's what they want to happen. We know the Punisher's going to be more involved. We're getting back to the core of the show. Maybe they'll even have it revealed that Foggy didn't die. It doesn't seem likely at this point. Maybe I'm just coping, but hopefully he is alive. Plus, it seems very likely that we're going to get to see Spider-Man in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 based on some comments from the director. I made a video on that yesterday. If you want to go to my channel and check it out, I'll link it at the end too. At number 6, I have Shang-Chi 2. Now, this is the second one on the list, just like Doctor Strange, that isn't actually officially confirmed, but it definitely would be surprising if we don't ever see a Shang-Chi sequel. It would be such a shame. I definitely want to see this character back. We have had it confirmed that Simu Liu is going to return as this character in Avengers Doomsday, but I think he definitely deserves another solo outing. There's so much potential with this character. I think the end and the third act of the movie kind of loses me a little bit when it turns into a big CGI dragon fight, but otherwise a lot of the fights, hand-to-hand combat, are some of the best we've seen in the entire MCU. Now, another difficulty for getting to see this movie is that the director of Shang-Chi 1, Destin Daniel Cretton, is actually the director for Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day, and that's going to start filming this summer, so this movie is probably a couple years out at the very earliest, unless they replace him as a director, which I kind of don't want them to do. But whatever, if they take their time, get a good script in, I would be very excited to see Shang-Chi 2 in the MCU. There's so much potential for this character. Like I said, I think their biggest mistake is not getting a sequel out before the next Avengers films. He should be like one of the new staples of the new Avengers. Before I get into my top 5, let me know what MCU projects you're most excited for. You can give me your list of all these or just like your top 3 in the comments below, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. At number 5, I'm gonna go with X-Men 97 Season 2. It honestly could have been higher on this list, but there's some absolute bangers that I think deserve to be above this. But the first season of this was absolutely masterful. absolutely gorgeous animation, the fight scenes looked incredible, but most importantly, this just understood the X-Men characters. The dynamic between all of them, the conflict, everything that arises was so perfectly handled, and of course that amazing cliffhanger has me super excited to see where they go with this. We really barely know anything about where season 2 is going to go. We have some very brief confirmations like that they're going to wear the Grant Morrison suits, which you can see on the left here if you don't know what those look like, which I'm honestly excited for. I know some people aren't a fan of this, but I think they're going to cook in this art style. I think anything would look good, honestly. Infinite potential for where they could go with the villains in this series. A lot of people are theorizing and hoping for Apocalypse. Well, I would love to see that. I also kind of hope they don't go that direction yet, at least, and kind of give some lesser known X-Men villains time to shine in this series. But whatever they do, I have so much faith that they're going to absolutely cook, because season 1 was genuinely one of the best seasons of any television show I've seen in the last couple years. At number 4, I very ironically have the Fantastic Four. How fantastic is it that it lined up so perfectly like that? But these characters are absolutely amazing, some of the most iconic Marvel characters of all time, and they have just been done dirty. Even though I am a fan of like the 2005 original Fantastic Four movie, it's still not very good. I just have a soft spot for it. It just looks so fresh, vibrant, like the visuals look amazing. I think the freedom that they have of being outside of the MCU's main universe in this movie is really going to let us get a special story. The stakes are going to be super high. Like, could Galactus actually win and just devour this version of Earth? It's on the table because this is a completely different universe. I think the Silver Surfers is going to be absolutely dope. If you're one of those people crying because it's a woman cast as the character, like, really, I think there's bigger issues in the world. I think Julia Garner is a great actress and she's going to be amazing as this character. I'm really loving that the movie's hiding Galactus in the marketing so far. Like, the fact that we're going to get to see Galactus in a Fantastic Four movie for the first time, hopefully on opening weekend. I hope they don't reveal him beforehand to like boost the sales or anything. I love that we've only seen his shadow and like his foot stepping through New York City. Gonna be absolutely insane to finally see this iconic battle between the Fantastic Four and Galactus on the big screen. Number 3, I'm going with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spider-Man all on his own after the ending of No Way Home, and it looks like we're finally gonna get a street level movie, because this seems like it's gonna be taking place right alongside Doomsday, but Spider-Man's not gonna be in the events of Doomsday itself. He's gonna be dealing with whatever street level New York events, which is all I've ever wanted from MCU Spider-Man. Get him away from Iron Man and the Avengers for just one film and let him cook. We got Sadie Sink joining the cast of this movie. I think she's the most talented of the Stranger Things group there that are now like, I wanted to call them the Stranger Things kids, but now they're all like 37 years old. But Sadie Sink's incredible. I don't think she should play Black Cat in this movie like this fan-made poster says, but whoever she's going to be, if it's Jean Grey, maybe it's Firestar, a new original character, she's going to be absolutely incredible, add a great dynamic to this. I'm just getting super hopeful that maybe we get like a Mr. Negative, at least introduced in this movie, even if he's not the main villain or turning into Mr. Negative yet. Maybe we finally get Scorpion as a villain. Whoever it is, please just keep this street level. I promise you, Sony, if you just let Marvel cook on this one, it's going to be amazing. Do not throw in like Morbius or something. Like, I do not want to see Morbin time happen here. At number 2, I'm going with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. I'm combining them into one because it's kind of weird to separate these out. Like, I honestly do think Doomsday might be slightly better, just because who knows how many more cameos we're even going to see in Secret Wars. It could just be a complete nostalgia fest, but Doomsday kind of already seems like it's going to be that, and I'm still excited for it. But obviously we know these movies are going to be part 1 and 2, probably the end of the MCU as we know it. Like, we're going to get into the mutant saga after this, like hopefully with a new version of the X-Men. This is going to be like the very final send-off for so many classic characters. Hopefully they can pull this off. I think RDJ as Doctor Doom is going to be incredible. I know people are still mad about that casting. RDJ is an incredible actor, and yes, it's obviously a money-hungry, nostalgia bait move to bring him back, but I don't think they would have done it if they also didn't have a story reason that's going to be amazing. I don't know how they're going to connect him to Tony Stark, if it's some alternate universe version of him. Whatever they do, I think the Russo brothers are going to cook, because while all their movies outside the MCU are pretty terrible, within the MCU, they've made some of my favorite movies with the Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War. They absolutely cook within the Marvel world, and I have full faith in them. And like, come on, we're gonna get to see the OG Fox X-Men with the Avengers. It's gonna be absolute chaos. The Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts in this movie. I mean, come on, just give me like 4 hours for both these films. I will be seated day one no matter what. And at number 1, I'm gonna cheat because there's only one non-MCU Marvel film coming out in the next couple of years, so I feel like it has to be included on this list. Even though it's not in the MCU, I'm going with Beyond the Spider-Verse, I would bet my life that this is the best out of any of these films on the list. People that got to see early footage at CinemaCon said this is absolutely gorgeous already. You can tell the animation is nothing like we've ever seen before, and they still have another full 2 years to work on it, and it already looks incredible. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. Across the Spider-Verse set this movie up with an all-time alley-oop to be one of the greatest films and conclude one of the greatest trilogies of all time. I know I'm glazing this movie. I'm sorry, when you make two perfect superhero movies as your first two, I have full faith that they're gonna absolutely nail the landing with this one, give us the perfect conclusion of Miles' story, him possibly breaking out of the canon, saving his father, ending up with Gwen, or they go for a complete shock and make one of them actually end up dying. Who knows? No matter what, it's going to be absolutely peak. Like I said, make sure to let me know your list in the comments below, what you're most excited for out of all these Marvel movies. And if you're wondering why the Thunderbolts weren't on this list, it's because A, it comes out in a week. I didn't want this video to already be so dated, and I've actually already seen this film, so if you want to see my initial reaction and review of the movie, click the video above. Spoiler alert, I absolutely loved it though. Thank you so much for watching.